with International Women's Day coming up, we thought it'd be quite a good opportunity to talk about some of the issues that come up with female partners that we work with.
And one of those key issues, and probably a sensible place to start, is really about timing, and is an issue that we have and comes up with any partners that we're working with, female or male, but in particular with female candidates. I don't know if you find this, but when I pick up the phone for maybe it's a specific role we're calling them about, oftentimes the answer is, well, now's not the right time for me to look for a move, or I'm just too busy at the moment, which is totally understandable. How often do you see that in the market?
It's the most common answer,
Yeah.
I think, that we get. And I think the key really is often people aren't actively seeking a move,
No.
but actually it's often for us about really trying to help them understand where they fit into a market, and really working closely together with us so that we understand we can not only help them find their place in a market, but also if they are ready for a move, even whether it's right for them to move, but really to build an understanding of where their place is, what the options available to them are. I think timing is a wonderful thing, and timing is almost the crucial thing, that actually it isn't necessarily when you're actively wanting to make a move. And there are some people that do, and have already identified that they do, but for the vast majority of people, they're almost worried about being pressured into making a move by a headhunter. Whereas I think our approach, and I say particularly so for female partners often, is let us understand you, understand what your timing is, understand where you fit into the market, give you all the knowledge and backing of that, so that actually, should the time come, or should it be right for you to make a move, you can make it with all of that information to hand.
It's that consultative element of our role that really fits into timing as well. And it's interesting that only recently I had a candidate where picked up the phone, we discussed an opportunity that I was working on at the moment. First response was, not interested, not looking. But as we drilled down a little bit more about where they are, what a specific opportunity was, it quickly came out that actually maybe now is not the right time, but we identified several key points in their practice that maybe could be better on another platform. And if it's not now, maybe later down the line. But what you don't want to do is leave it too late, where you haven't got that leverage anymore that you've built up in a practice. And one of the other points that we find, especially with female partners, is their career isn't necessarily linear. And we spoke about that a lot. Even last International Women's Day, we had a talk around the female partner route and how it's not a linear route.
I think every partner, and in this circumstance, sort of female partners, have their own path and their own timing, and it's really important to work closely aligned with somebody that understands that, and actually now might not be the right time for a move in terms of their practice, in terms of their life. And we've dealt with, again, sort of female partners who actually the non-linear part is, again, it can be child related, from sort of maternity leave to childcare considerations, even through to actually, more sort of older children when there's exams coming up. And actually there's always something that actually might mean that it's not an ideal time, but actually having an understanding of that person's path and timing is really crucial in us, I guess, guiding and giving the right advice.
One of the examples that I had was not necessarily in childcare, comes up a lot, but was caring for their elderly parents, and they were the main carer for their parents, working at a regional outfit. They did have flexible working, but actually when we spoke to that partner, it was touching base and strategically aligning where is going to be right, one, so they don't necessarily miss out on the build of their practice, because they were still ambitious and wanted to continue that build, but also whilst juggling these caring responsibilities. And with the right kind of careful consultation approach that we took, we managed to find them an opportunity where they could work for the majority of the time at home and really and still maintain that practice. Some other examples with childcare is, for example, I was working with a candidate who was used to working at a US firm and magic circle firm and doing very well. But priorities changed. They wanted to focus on building a family, and some of the time working at US platform just isn't conducive to that. And they ended up working at a brilliant regional firm, but it came to a point in their career where their children had got a bit older and they'd left home and gone into university, and they thought, how can I get back into that US outfit and doing that US work and the work that they actually enjoyed, and exposure to some of their more international elements to the work. So with strategic and careful planning, especially considering their business case, we managed to get there over the course of just over a year, and really knowing how to position themselves in the markets. And we've secured that opportunity for them. So picking up the phone, yes, now might not be the right time, but the whole purpose of speaking to us is not necessarily the now, it's how can we best advise you to get to the next stage.
I worked with somebody really interesting who had quite specific childcare needs, really wasn't that happy at their firm, but actually it was let's not mess with the status quo. Yeah. And actually the firm gives me flexibility with this. Actually, it was a couple of years later when they did decide actually maybe somewhere else could also match that, and that was the sort of priority. And they then said, after making the move, I wish I'd done it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But again, its timing is different for everybody. Equally, as much as, childcare, we're seeing an increasing number of women who are actually the sort of main earners in their family. Yeah. And actually, children or not, actually it's all about really being able to be at the best platform for them, being able to secure really the strongest remuneration, the strongest ability to build the practice, and the strongest progression. So I would also say timing is everything, but also individual pathways are everything too. One of the other roles I think we really take pride in is really championing as well our partners, in this case female partners, through a process. I think it's really important for us to build into that understanding of somebody, understanding of their lives, their background, so that we can really give sort of the right advice, but also the right support going through a process too.
Yeah, and that's really the purpose of being that consultant and that consultative element at the beginning of the process, to be able to identify those maybe key points that are really important to you, and making sure that we're addressing them at each stage of the recruitment process, not just getting you through the door of an opportunity. It might be, and one of a good example actually I had in a client meeting recently was just about championing a female partner candidate through their process in meeting key figureheads of individual practice areas that were really important to them in their business practice. And it's funny, we talk about female partners being particularly nervous or underselling themselves, but I think there's a generalization for a reason. So it's really important that for us, we are in their corner, and we're seen to be in their corner, and ensuring that they are meeting all the right people through the process and championing them, not only from that initial introduction, but through their business case, through each meeting that they have, all the way through to offer stage.
Absolutely. One of the key topics I think that is worth having a chat about is business plans. I think it's the one area that is absolutely necessary in every partner process, but it also sends a fear of God through a lot of female partners who are often thinking, actually, I really don't want to oversell myself. So I really will underplay everything that I do. And it's something that we definitely find much more in female partners than in male partners, which is you can see historically what somebody has done and how they've done it. But a new firm, they will always look at that as to how they fit somebody into their particular partner structure, and where they come in at. And I think it is a generalization that female partners have been much more underconfident historically when they're putting together a business plan. And all that means is the female partner then will be made a lower offer, come in lower into the partnership, and take a longer time to move up through the partnership, which is obviously then affects how many partners, female partners get to the top and how quickly.
Yeah. And as part of our role, even from that first conversation, we're already talking about business cases. And even if it's not so obvious. That's part of our jobs to really identify key clients, key routes of referrals, key jurisdictions, etc. So we're very quickly able to make an assessment, I think, from our experience as well, of where your business case is at, and then through further kind of consultation, where's going to be the right platform for you, and where's going to elevate your practice and really take you to that next step. But it is really interesting, even working with a candidate recently who has a fantastic track record, and actually their practice could only be better on a specific platform that they're currently interviewing at, but they're only willing to guarantee about a quarter of what they do on an annual basis and what they generate on their current platform. And I totally get, you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, totally understand. But when you have a male counterpart who is presenting a overly confident, perhaps, business case, and that's what you're set against. And it's not to say that that's necessarily the right thing all the time as well, but we're really there to, again, championing you through the process and making sure that you're putting down accurate figures that really reflect your business case. And that's something that we can really work closely with female partners on.
I think also, having worked on probably thousands, for me, business plans now, I think there is, our position is very much that we're really experienced, we're really knowledgeable about this, but we're also about giving the right advice. We're not overly salesy or pushy. It's about really making sure there's a really good understanding, and that is reflected in a business plan. I worked with a partner recently, actually moving to a US firm, where their business plan actually hadn't reflected any of the cross-selling opportunities that actually, because it wasn't captured by their own firm. So actually working together, actually understanding her practice, really drilling down into it, it was really clear that actually there's a whole chunk of work that actually hadn't even been acknowledged. Certainly wasn't acknowledged by her own firm, but the new firm absolutely would. And part of that, I think, and part of our job that I feel really strongly about, is we are championing women and partners through the process of work alongside you, but also giving the right advice and the right guidance along the way. It's particularly that nubby business plan when so much story is given by it, but it is a really daunting task for a lot of people. And particularly if you're thinking, this could be sort of, this could be held up to me. But actually, I always want to say, we've had a lot of experience with this. We can help sort of spot the gaps, but also give you some confidence about it too, which I think often, particularly the female partners, can suddenly come lacking at the business plan stage.
Yeah, definitely. And I think female partners in particular often forget that this is a huge investment for the firm that is investing in them. They don't want this to fail either. So it's just giving you a little bit of confidence from our side, and that's part of our job too, is to give you a little bit of that confidence. But on the flip side is also, sometimes we do actually are quite honest and say, you're better off probably staying where you are for a bit, building up X part of your practice or Y part of your practice, and then we take it from there and leverage the opportunity when you're in a little bit of your business case is maybe in a little bit better shape to get you to that next level, to get you to that next platform, where's your next goal, and really be your strategic partner throughout your career and not just now.
I mean, I've helped somebody move recently who moved, I've known actually for a long time through their career. They've been called up randomly by somebody, got their first partnership position, called me very quickly, having joined the new firm, and really did not enjoy it at all. I think they were very quickly aware within the first week or so that it wasn't what had been promised. They'd had a very pushy headhunter who had sort of sold them the dream. They were unhappy very quickly, and I actually have moved them. I met her recently, and she said, it's the first time I've actually feel like I really enjoy working at a law firm in my career. And I think actually having the sort of trust and background with her, I'd known her through her career, she'd always come to me to sort of ask me advice. She'd taken this other position, which, as I said, very quickly wasn't the right position for her. And she actually said to me, I actually think I would have just quit because I hated it that much and it really wasn't the right for me. And having now found the right thing for me, she said, I cannot believe it's like night and day.
You can kind of see why female partners in particular, when you have such caring responsibilities a lot of the time, or maybe you're the main breadwinner, are maybe a bit apprehensive about a move. And especially when you have maybe more overzealous and salesy people in the market who are trying to sell you the dream and get you into their next door. That's really what, from working from other places to here, I've really noticed that the consultative part of this of what we do, and it's really important.
And I think the knowledge part as well. I really feel that our job is to arm our candidates with the right level of information. We understand actually what remuneration does look like, what do tracks look like, what are the expectations, what are the hours, what are the next steps, what are the gateways to get into certain stages? Is that possible? Is it feasible? Where is it? What's likely to happen? We have a lot of information, and I always think that's the type of thing that actually I would want to know as a partner. Is actually, where do I fit into the ecosystem? What are my next steps? What does that look like? Am I best placed staying put? Or actually, am I really being sort of underpaid or underutilized? Are there better opportunities? Met somebody just today who was saying actually her practice has gone one way and the firm has gone another in a way. So whilst she could carry on in her track, actually you really need to join up with a firm so that 2 + 2 = 5, as opposed to actually just going one way, and maybe actually your clients don't quite fit into the firm, in which case you're not going to progress through a partnership. So I think that sort of knowledge piece for me is really crucial in one of the things that we really do offer our candidates that we work with.
When you've got such busy lives, it can be hard to ever peer your head over the parapet and actually see what is out there, what is the market looking like and doing. So it's not necessarily having a chat with us to talk about a move now. It's talking about what are the opportunities out there? Could there be somewhere better for me? And again, that point where if not now, then later on.
And am I getting paid appropriately?
Am I getting paid?
Am I actually getting paid market rate?
Yeah.
Actually, if I could, for example, I couldn't move, it's best to stay put, then maybe I have to suck that up for a bit. But where do I fit into the law firm structure? And am I in the best position for my life, my timings, my career path?